Hi, what is up guys? Kickstarter here. Welcome back to another Brown Dust video. Alright, so I'm gonna do a bit of analysis for the Christina and Glacia plus 15 for those of you guys who still aren't sure if you want to recruit them or not, because even though I've done that before when it was released in Korea, I think not many people watched that video. So let's go, let's dive into it. Okay, so we're gonna go through Christina first. All the units in the update. So Christina should be somewhere here. Alright, there's new sub-story. Gonna check that out later. Oh, we'll need Catherine. Alright, don't worry. We'll recruit her. Okay, so before we proceed to her skills. Okay, so I just want to stress that out that she gets a revamp in her stats. Alright, higher crit rate now. Before this was around 30 to 35%. Crit damage is the same. Edge is the same. Defense is the same. She has slightly higher attack now. Alright, before this was 530 something, I think. HP is increased slightly, about 500. So this is going to affect the runes that you should give her. So ideally, I would recommend putting rage runes, maybe one rage rune and one flat assault rune, because her base attack is so low. That's going to make sense, because when you give her flat attack, it's going to usually give her a huge jump, a huge boost in her attack directly. But do keep in mind that she has her attack slightly increased, I think by about 100 or so compared to the previous build. So not sure if that will affect anything, or percentage runes might be better. So we will need to test that out, but I still think flat runes is going to be better overall. Rage runes is definitely good for DOT if you are just using her to basically counter opponents who will basically die to DOT. So that will give her the ability to crit. So now let's look at her skills. I know many of you guys have been asking, if you cannot plus 15 Christina, is it worth getting her at all? It depends, right? Because right now, Christina, what makes her so good is two things I improve. Number one is her multi-hit. So now she hits 5 times. Before this, she hits 2 times. Alright, so that is a big, huge jump. Alright, she gets range at plus 6, plus 9, all of these reduced, notice that. So healing at plus 10. No, the damage at plus 10. So notice at plus 12 onwards, this is where it gets really interesting. Plus 11, this skill is just a normal skill. So deals bleeding, deals poison, deals burn, depending on the enemy, if they are warriors, defenders, or supporters. But at plus 12 onwards, look at this. So now, ignores enemies' damage reduction effect caused by defense and deals bleeding damage every turn. So this is really interesting, because now enemies who have high defense, you know, like 80%, 90%, will get their those damage ignored, and it will deal insane amount of DOT to them still. So that only applies to defenders right here. If it's warrior supporters, so ignores enemies' incoming damage reduction and deals poison damage. So it's only damage reduction, whereas for defenders, it's damage reduction effect caused by defense. So that means that this doesn't count towards barrier, this counts towards shield runes that helps them to mitigate the damage. And I do think it's going to be huge if you can plus 12 or plus 11 her. If you cannot plus 12 her, I don't think she's worth going at all. But ideally, of course, you want a plus 15, but it looks like plus 12 is the next huge jump for me personally. 50%, 75% bleed damage. So yeah, when you go to plus 15, this is what she's getting. So notice there's a defense boost, defense plus 95%. So she does have a base defense of 5%, 95% will give her 100% defense. So that means she will not die to Raphitia's counter. Raphitia is everywhere. Alright, so Gluti's counter is insane. If you have below plus 15, she might die to certain counter depending on the runes you have on her, right? So again, she will still die to fixed damage. That's not going to change anything. Incoming damage minus 65% only. And one more thing, becomes immune to debuff skill type. So it only lasts for 1 turn, but this is huge right now, because in the meta, it revolves around Dalvi. Alright, so Dalvi is everywhere. And if you do not have a plus 15 Christina, if she happens to hit like amongst Dalvi, she's gonna get charm. Alright, with debuff immune, she will not get charm, she will be fine. You know, it's gonna be huge because if you have a plus 14 and plus 15, plus 14 Christina who gets charm, you know, during the next turn she will end up hitting her own teammates if your Rafitia is dead. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. So ideally plus 15 if you can, it will be huge on her. Alright, so moving on to Glacia. Okay, so the only thing we need to notice for Glacia is the amount of HP she has, which is around 5800, and the defense that she has, 10%, base stats of defense. Her crit rate and crit damage is pretty freaking high for a defender, to be honest. Like, I have no idea why is it so high. You can just easily get her up to 100% crit rate with one Rafi's buff for sure. So ideally try to put her inside Rafitia's buff range. So here's the thing. So what makes Glacia so cool, so unique is, number one, her skill is like reflective counter to freeze, right? Okay, so this is a huge thing because it reduces stats of the enemies if they are not immune to attack interference. So if you do not have Michaela's buff, that is gonna be huge, right? Up to plus 3, it's really huge right here because this defense reduction, especially if you are not immune to those stats weakening, you have 100% defense, it's gonna get reduced all the way. Okay, so when you go to the second skill, this is what makes her extremely broken. Alright, incoming damage minus 45%, and there's damage reflection, similar to Rafitia's damage reflect, right? So this skill is pretty cool, going all the way to plus 12, alright? So what is increased is mostly the incoming damage reduction and the reflection as well. 75% reflection, 100%, you know, and then defense boost adds a lot. So this is a very incredible skill. It lasts before battle. She doesn't need to attack first. It's what makes her so defensively good, right? Because of this barrier skill that doesn't need to be activated. If you think about it's kind of broken in a way because even Grand Hildir is not that strong before she attacks. She doesn't get the damage reduction barrier after she attacks. So Glacia has this permanently activated, and at plus 13 it goes to 100 turns, and then the damage reflection is 125%, and of course 80% defense increase. So easily she can just get 100% defense with one shield rune. But keep in mind, if you do not have her at plus 15, she's gonna die to a couple of meta units. Dalvi, she will die to Livia, she will die to Barbara, and those things because of a reflective counter. So once she goes to plus 15, this is where it gets really cool. Notice this thing, defense plus 80% at plus 14, at plus 15, boom, gets Glacia status for protection, does not receive any damage, alright, becomes inoperable. So this is very cool. For one turn, she will get into this very unique Glacia status, but the key here is after getting normal attack, which is what is going to be used to counter her specifically. Most units will rely on additional damage and after normal attack. For example, let's go and have a look at all the legendaries. So let's look at Alec. If you look at his skill, this skill right here, alright, additional damage after normal attack. And then we have Angelica right here, alright, Angelica, this skill right here. Okay, so additional damage after normal attack. So this is all going to get countered by Glacia. So the only few skills that perhaps can one-shot Glacia with those Glacia status thing, somebody mentioned before Ventana, because Ventana, if you look at it, this thing is before normal attack, right? So you have to look out for skills like this. Maybe in the future, the developers are going to release more units that can counter Glacia directly by just making their skills, you know, the additional damage to be activated before normal attack. So that's going to be broken. Alright, so that's what makes Glacia so good right now. A lot of skills, even Livia, like, you know, Livia is like so broken right now, and what makes her so broken is this skill right here. Again, additional damage after normal attack. So Glacia gonna counter Livia directly, and a lot of other units definitely. So getting plus 15 is a must. If you cannot plus 15 Glacia, plus 14 is not going to do anything. Like, she's just another 100% defense warrior You know, something like an Angelica of some sort, but she's gonna die to Dalvi, it seems like. So definitely, you know, try to go for plus 15 if you can. That's where it's huge, it's game changing, it's gonna be everything, it's gonna win you battles that you have never won before in your life. Go for plus 15 Glacia. Alright, and next up, we're gonna talk a little bit about Melodia or Iris. She's gonna be somewhere here. I'm having difficulty finding her. There we go. Okay, so Iris right now, I thought this was a front tile. Apparently it's a skip. Alright, so she basically has the same range as a Korat. So you have to build alongside those formations. Alright, cross, X tile, skip. So this is where it's gonna be useful. So we're gonna go all the way to plus 15. So she has this skill. Alright, she's gonna charm the allies. I mean the enemies, of course. Boost their attack time plus 200% if they are charmed. And of course, it's called an advanced charm now. And it's very interesting. She will apply advanced charm when charm expires or is removed, which is a very weird skill. So enemies will get charmed, and this is where it gets interesting. If they die, she gets defense boost 65% for 12 turns and 18% max HP healing for 6 turns. So this is kind of huge. 12 turns, she's gonna get 100% defense easily. 65% defense, she has 10% base stats, 75%. So that means you only need one rune, 25% shield rune, to get her to 100% defense easily. You can do 1 shield, 1 vital if you want, or just go 2 shield, up to you. But ideally 100% defense is what you want in Novice. And then of course, this skill, reflective counter, permanently activated, so makes the enemies attack their allies by charming them. Okay, so for 24 turns. So this is the one that's a big game changing if you are going to go plus 15. Plus 14 Iris will have this last to 18 turns after she attacks. I think it's not as huge for her to be plus 15. She doesn't really need that plus 15. It looks like you can get by with a plus 12. She's gonna have almost all the kits necessary at plus 12. Yeah, maybe plus 13 if you want, like, if you're gonna go 2 shield runes, plus 13 is gonna be enough. And then of course this skill, she's immune to DOT and reduce damage by a lot, 65%, and taunt for 12 turns. Insane. Make sure to recruit her for Novice Arena or else you'll be far behind. And lastly, we have Maria. Maria should be somewhere here. Okay, so we're just gonna jump all the way to what makes her so good right now. Okay, so Maria, she will get this huge insane range at plus 15. Nullifier is still there. So her huge jumping point is plus 12. Why is that? Look at this. Awakening skill. Reduce stats after normal attack, 18 turns. Plus 12 before normal attack, 18 turns. So this is huge because the enemy will receive the damage before normal attack, will receive the stats reduction. So their defense will get reduced. And mostly it's just defense because it won't affect HP. So defense get reduced, huge, before she hits them. They are going to receive more damage. So this is what makes her very good right now. It's a big game changer in the Novice scene. And of course she will get insane amount of damage, plus 14, 200%. And if the enemy dies, she heals. And she gets 100% attack boost for 24 turns. Now a lot of players have been saying that she's a game changer. She's a new Narthus in Novice Arena. I personally do not think so. I don't think she will ever replace like Narthus or Alicia because she does not have Ignore Taunt, right? So that is what makes Narthus and Alicia so good. She can still be taunted, and yeah, we're gonna see some people try to work around that by using taunt at all the way at the rare. So that's gonna like counter her directly. Let me know what you guys think. I'm definitely gonna use her in my team, of course, just to test her out and things like that. But yeah, not sure if she's not like super counter proof, and will she be able to kill all those taunters that try to taunt her? That's the main concern right here. Okay, so that's gonna be it for this video. I'm gonna do a poll video later on. Let me know if you guys are recruiting. Who are you guys recruiting for? Again, Glacia, Christina, if you're still undecided. See you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.